Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Sunday morning the 19th of October. In this video we are going back to Nova Scotia once again to talk about the case of missing siblings 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan from Lansdowne Station. They were reported missing at 10:01 a.m. by their mother Malaya Brooks-Murray. Over 5 months has gone by and we are still without any tangible answers. We know all about the blanket, we know all about the boot prints. Recently, cadaver dogs who have been brought over from British Columbia searched those areas and didn't find any evidence of human remains. I believe it's perfectly possible that Lilly and Jack could have walked away from their home, as we know that Jack is known to wander. And the family knew that the kids wandered, but still didn't bother putting a lock on the door or fixing the fence. So there's that. However, in the last couple of days, the court documents that were released in August have been updated and some redactions have been taken off. Like, the documents were quite heavily redacted. The key operationally relevant information was held back. And the Canadian press has successfully lobbied the RCMP to get some of the redactions removed. So one key element of that redaction removal is around the mystery vehicle that was heard by 2 different witnesses going up and down Gerlach Road in the early morning hours of May the 2nd, so just hours before Lilly and Jack disappeared. In this video, we're going to talk about that mystery vehicle and why I believe that the neighbours who reported this mystery vehicle are not involved in Lilly and Jack's disappearance. Let's go. Before we get into the video, can I just ask, if you're not yet subscribed, please do so. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. With your help I can do it. I've got less than 3,000 subscribers to go. So if you're subscribed, obviously you can't subscribe twice, but what you can do is you can tell your friends, you can tell your family, you can publicise my videos to everybody you know, and maybe they'll subscribe and maybe they'll watch my videos and they'll like them. So what's not to love about that? It's completely free. So help me out to get the silver play button plaque that YouTube will send me when I reach that massive milestone. Okay, without further ado, the newspapers who have been following Lilly and Jack's case since the beginning, CBC, Globe and Mail, Global News and CTV, they've given write-ups of this new information. I do have some screenshots. I've not got the full revised document, so I took the screenshots from Sonny from It's a Crime and Shame's live stream from last night. I've also got some information from the DT show as well. Here's my thought process, and this video is very much just my opinion based on what we know about the investigation so far. So don't take this as truth, don't take this as fact. This is purely my opinion. But I believe that RCMP have ruled out the neighbours for one key reason. So let's just backtrack a little for those who haven't seen the news in the last few days and talk about what we actually know. In yesterday's video, I got the map out and I looked at whether what one neighbour, Bradley Wong, said could be true. Now, I didn't know what address Wong lived at, because despite this place being really rural, there are a few neighbours scattered around, none very close though. So if we dial back the clock to 2004, you can see these properties a little bit more clearly. So there's a property there, something there, something there, something there. All right, and then there's more properties up here. I wasn't sure where Bradley Wong lived, but this is Bradley Wong's statement. And I'm reading this from the court documents. On May 9th, Constable Mackenzie and Constable McKendrick had a conversation with Brad Wong. The following is a summary. Brad Wong said he didn't wish to provide a statement but was willing to have a conversation with police. I don't know what the difference is. Didn't want to sign a statement as true, but would have a chat. Okay. He said in the early hours of May 2nd, he heard a loud vehicle coming and going in the area of Lilly Jack's address. He said his residence is at an elevated position from Daniel's residence, and he could see vehicle lights over the treetops. In yesterday's video, because I didn't know which property Wong lived at, I looked at all of these properties and the elevation difference between Daniel's property, which sits at about 135 metres above sea level at the road, and then all of these properties. So this one sits at around 140 metres. So the elevation change is about 5 metres, which is like 16, 17 feet. So is it possible for somebody at this property to see over the treetops and see lights over on Garlock Road? Possibly, unless you've got a whole bunch of trees that are higher than 16 feet, which is perfectly possible. However, these addresses are way higher. It goes as high as 150 metres above sea level. So that's 15 metres higher. So this property, I think, could potentially see lights on Garlock Road coming from Daniel's house. However, on the DT show last night, I've no way to verify this because it's not like in the United States where you can get someone's address relatively easily. So I don't know where DT has got this information from, presumably from Daniel. But apparently, this is Wong's address. And then Justin Smith, the other neighbour who heard stuff, who we'll talk about in a minute, was staying in this location on the night of May 1st into May 2nd. Again, I have no way to verify this. If we assume that this information is correct, Wong's address is going to be this one. So the one that sits 140 metres above sea level, 5 metres higher than Daniel's property. So is it possible for someone at this property to see lights of a vehicle moving up and down Garlock Road? I guess so. Can't go down to street level on Lansdowne Station Road, so don't know whether it is possible to see above treetops here. But on a cursory level, the information that he said checks out. Then we've got Justin Smith, who was staying in this area that night, and Justin Smith also provided a statement. On May 17th, Constable Donaldson took a statement from Justin Smith, who lives in the area where Lilly and Jack went missing. The following is a summary. Justin Smith said he was on good terms with the Mackenzie family and helped Janie out in the past. He didn't know Malaya, Daniel, Jack or Lilly specifically. On Thursday night into Friday mornings, that would be the 1st into the 2nd of May, he was up until 1 a.m. On Facebook, around 1:30 a.m, he heard a car on Highway 89 turn round by the railroad tracks near the area of Garlock Road and Lansdowne Station Road. That is this area. So this is Lansdowne Station Road, this is the railway. All right, and then that's Lansdowne Road. So this area turns round here. Remember, Justin is staying up around here somewhere on that night. So could he hear a vehicle all this ways up here, turning round? He'd have to be really paying attention, honestly. Sound travels, I guess, you would say. He later spoke with Brad Wong, so they conferred. So Justin Smith and Brad Wong conferred. Who informed him that Daniel's vehicle came and went 5 or 6 times that night. Wong said the car Smith heard was Daniel's. Smith helped with the search on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, but did not find anything. So Justin Smith has been got at by Brad Wong. Brad Wong has said, yeah, the thing you heard was Daniel's vehicle. But how would Brad Wong know that all the ways down here? If all he's seeing is lights over the treetops, it's not like he's seeing a vehicle, it's not like he's seeing anyone in the driving seat. How does he know that that vehicle came from Daniel's? And especially who was driving? I suppose you might say, well, from this location, he could hear a car going here and then turning around and going here and going here. All right, fair enough. I guess you could say that. But just seeing lights over the treetops and, you know, hearing that vehicle in the distance, how are you going to say that that's Daniel? So, DT's live stream last night was about Brad WONG. He said that the neighbour that he's been talking about in recent live streams but not naming was Brad WONG. And Brad WONG does have a criminal history for breaking into places. He's a thief. But what we don't have is any evidence that he's been violent towards children. We absolutely do not have that. Just because someone's got a criminal history doesn't mean to say they're going to go out and murder children. Does it? Honestly. You've not got any propensity towards hurting children in any way, shape or form, then why would you be a suspect? And here's the thing. Here's the reason why I believe RCMP do not consider these neighbours suspects, nor do they believe that the vehicle that they heard is relevant to the investigation. Does anybody want to give it a guess as to why, in my opinion, cannot be true? Okay, I'll tell you. It's because that's one of the things that the RCMP has chosen to make public. There's still plenty of things in these documents that are redacted for operationally relevant reasons, because they don't want to give away certain elements of the investigation, quite rightly, because if this investigation did turn criminal at some point in the future, releasing too much information can be detrimental to the case. A defence attorney would jump on it. But the RCMP have chosen to release this information, to remove the redactions, name Brad WONG, name Justin Smith, and give the full details about what they claim to have heard. If the RCMP believed that any of that was operationally relevant, they wouldn't have chosen to remove the redactions on that particular piece of information, would they now? So, personally, I don't believe that the RCMP believe that the vehicle coming and going is operationally relevant, nor are those neighbours. They've chosen to name them. They've not chosen to name them as suspects. They've chosen to name them as witnesses. I might be completely wrong, but that's just my logical brain doing some, deductive reasoning here, because there's still plenty of things that the RCMP want to hold back. That piece of information about the vehicle coming and going and about these neighbours is not one of them. So, logically speaking, leads you to believe that the RCMP don't think those details are relevant to Lilly and Jack's disappearance. Let me know what you think. Am I on the right lines? Is my opinion completely off? Would the RCMP actually release this piece of information if it was operationally relevant? One other little nugget of information comes from Earl Martell, Daniel's dad. And a few days ago he came out and said that he was going to start spilling the tea. Well, somebody's screen captured these. Thanks to Lindsay Jones for the push to shake things up. Your turn to get the truth on them two. Have fun, you love your job. What a person feels they're in the right, they don't back down for any threats against them. And my mind, I'm right. I'm not going to stop digging into things. Anyone against me better go and sit in a corner. There's no stopping me. I've got nothing to lose. He's just like Daniel, this guy. Well, shaking the apple tree paid off in dividends. 2 more names to look at real close. So Earl Martell, Daniel's dad, is directing people to look towards these 2 people who've now been named. Again, though, in my opinion, it's not operationally relevant to the RCMP. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.